Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 140 of the FAB and Fearless Business Booster Shot Show. My name is Yinka. I am a business strategist, a coach, a speaker, and I am an incoming author. And I support women to create wealth in and through their businesses by helping them to focus on what matters most for the business, which is cash flow and strategy, and what matters most for the business owner, which is mindset and habits. And it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this 140th episode of the Business Booster Shot Show, where each week at 1:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday, I come to you with a short, sharp shot to boost both you and your business with one powerful truth and one actionable tip. And if you can see and hear me over on my social platforms, either LinkedIn or Facebook or the fabulous YouTube, feel free to jump into the chat and say hello. Let me know that you can see and hear me. Let me know that we are indeed streaming live and I'm not just talking to myself. And let's get ready to share on today's topic, which is the 95-5 rule for cash flow success. I can just see Jackie. Thank you so much. Awesome lady. It is so good to have you in the house. Welcome. Fabulous Jackie Raymond. It is great to see you. And thank you for letting me know that you can see me over on LinkedIn. I will go over to Facebook just to double check and then also make sure that we are live over on YouTube, because we are talking 95-5. So the 95-5 rule as it relates to cash flow success. And it's a good one. It definitely is a good one. Welcome, Sharon. It's lovely to have you in the room. Oh, my faves, they are here today. So excited to see you here. So ladies, just before we get started, let me know, scores on the doors. How are you doing today? On a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how you're feeling. Number 1 is, oh my gosh, Yinka. Things could not be any worse. Number 10 is Yinka. Things are so fabulous and could not be any better. Let me know how you are doing today. And while you're at it, feel free to tag a friend into this broadcast. If you know that talking the 95-5 rule for cash flow success is going to help an incredible women in business, feel free to tag her into this broadcast so that she'll have the opportunity to either catch us live if she is live online right now, or she can join team #replay if not. So ladies and gents, we are talking the 95-5 rule for cash flow success. And before I talk to you about that, I am going to share that today I am a strong 9. I have had some delicious conversations this morning and I am coming off of a birthday. Woo-hoo. I am such a birthday focused person. Hi, Kevin. Lovely to have you in the room. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, it was my birthday on Monday, the 10th of March, the best day of the year, officially the International Day of Awesomeness. Go check it out on YouTube. I did not make that up. Go check it out on Google even. I did not make that up. It is the International Day of Awesomeness on the 10th of March, which also happens to be an awesome day for me because it was the day I was born. So I am coming off a birthday. I am feeling also blessed today, and I am so reinvigorated for the mission that I have to see lives changed and to see bank accounts filled, to see rich and rested become people's reality and their opportunity, and to transform their experience of running businesses. So thank you for the belated birthday wishes, Kevin. I appreciate you. I'm really looking forward to sharing more about the 95-5 rule for cash flow success. So let's first of all talk about the 95-5 rule and the actual split of the idea of 95 and 5. Now, obviously, those two numbers add up to 100. So in the first instance, it gives us a framework that really helps us to understand how to manage our most potent and powerful resource for any type of success, let alone cash flow success. So ladies and gents, jump in the chat and let me know What is our most powerful resource as it relates to success? What do you think that is? Jump into the chat. Let me know your guesses or your insights into this particular resource. We as human beings, I often talk about the fact that success is made up of two key components: resources and resourcefulness. They are the two components that make up success in any area of life for any person seeking it. Now, the beautiful thing, hi Joan, about this particular equation is it means that success is available to everybody, because wherever your resources come to an end, that's where your resourcefulness will pick up the slack and keep running to success. So yeah, some people have loads of resources, but the fact is that resourcefulness is abundant in every human, and therefore success is always available. So I don't know about you, but for me, that particular success equation always gives me the feels. I always get goosebumps when I think about it, because I always am reminded that wherever my resources come to an end, wherever I am lacking in those resources, that's where I get to pick up on resourcefulness and go make it happen. So what do you think our most precious resource is? What is our most precious resource? Jackie has put time in the chat, and I want to thank Jackie, because time is indeed incredibly precious. It's also non-renewable. And so it is absolutely, every smart, savvy person treats time the way that most general people treat money. They treat their time like it's precious. They treat their time like it's valuable, and they spend it wisely. But time is not the resource I am focused on today. So what do you think our most precious resource that we have at our disposal is today? Drop in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to take one more guess, and then I'm going to share it with you. Energy. Thank you, Kevin. Time and energy are our guesses. And what I want to offer you today is the idea that specifically, Kevin, I loved your guess, and thank you for dropping that here, that our most precious resource is our focus. It is our focus. It is our attention. How do we know this? Absolutely, Kevin, you're absolutely right. It is so hard to work from an empty cup. But how do we know that our focus and our attention is so precious? The reason why we know this is because the wealthiest companies in the world today all sell the same thing, which is human focus and attention. So the wealthiest organizations come together to form the acronym FANGS. Now, obviously, there are, parent companies and, sexy names now, but FANGS, back in the day when it was first derived, stood for Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and I do believe that the last is Spotify, although some people say Shopify, but whatever, Spotify. Now, all of these companies came together to make up the most valuable companies in the world at the time of this acronym coming together. And they all sell exactly the same thing: human focus and attention. And so this is how we know the incredible value of our focus and attention. Because you're absolutely right, Kevin. Energy is so potent, and yet diffuse energy is very, very different from focused, laser sharp energy. And so it is our focus and our attention that is the most powerful, potent resource that we have at our disposal to create the cash flow that we want. So that's the first thing I wanted to share, because the reason why we are talking about this 95-5 rule today is because our focus, our attention is finite. We don't have endless supply on any given day. And because, and this is why I wanted to say thank you to Jackie, because she highlighted the importance of time, our focus and attention is experienced, and it is distributed through the medium of time. And so we can only really be focusing at any point in time on any specific thing. And so if you can imagine, our focus comes through the medium of time, 8 hours of the day, hopefully, your focus should be on sleeping. And so the 95-5 rule, what it attempts to do is to give you a really clear focus on how you should be directing your focus for cash flow success. Someone drop that in the chat for me. So the 95-5 rule helps us to understand how to focus or how to direct our focus for cash flow success. Now, the second thing I want you to know about this idea of 95 and 5 is the fact that 95 is way bigger than 5. It is 19 times bigger than 5. Like literally, if you split up 100 units into 20 even units, 19 of them go to one side and 5 go to the other. Sorry, 1 unit goes to the other. So 95% is pushed to one side and 5% is pushed to the other side. 95 is so much bigger than 5, and this is by design. The 95-5 rule is a maxed out version of the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule is often known as the Pareto coefficient. It's talked about in terms of being the law of the vital few. And it talks about the fact that things do not express themselves evenly in anything. That there will always be a dramatic stacking up in one area and a dramatic underrepresentation in another. So the 80-20 rule reminds us that you wear 80% of your clothes, or 20% of your clothes, 80% of the time. That you eat 20% of the dishes that you can cook, 80% of the time. In business, we're reminded that 20% of the time that we spend in our business gives us 80% of our results. It basically tells us how much stuff we waste. But the 80-20 rule is so powerful because it gives us a hint into recognizing that all focus, all time, and all things to focus on, all focal points, they are not made equally. And in the 95-5 rule, because if you take that 20% from the 80-20, so 80 to one side, 20 to another, and then you 80-20, that last 20%, that's where you get the 95-5 rule. It actually comes out to 96-4, but fine. 95-5 is a bit more sexy. So the purpose of this rule is to show us how incredibly important it is to make sure that we are spending our time effectively. And when it comes to cash flow success, the way that we are taught to focus on cash flow and the way that actually creates cash flow success is completely opposite. See, when you hear the word cash flow, more often than not, people think about accountants, people think about spreadsheets, people think about expenses and budgets and all of those pieces of the puzzle. And actually, when it comes to the 95-5 rule of cash flow success, what it is guiding us to focus our time on is that we should be spending 95% of the time that we're thinking about focusing on cash flow. 95% of that time should be focused on cash flow acquisition, bringing money in, expanding your reach, making more money, and 5% should be focused on cash flow management, dealing with expenses, sorting out the budgets and all of those kinds of things. So 95-5 is the framework that is used to create cash flow success. Now, you probably heard me say that and thought, yeah, no, Yinka, like, no, just no. I know that if I'm going to be a good girl, and I'm going to get my virtual gold star, then I need to do way more cash flow management than that. And what I want to say to you is I totally understand why you think that is true. And don't forget that common wisdom creates common results. And you and I both know, if you've spent any time around me, you will be aware of the common results around cash flow and business. You will be aware that 90% of businesses go out of business in 5 years or less. You will know that 99% of businesses are gone in 10 years. You will also know that the reason, the reason why all of those businesses go out of business unless the government shuts them down is because they run out of cash flow. And so this is the importance of understanding how to spend our focus as it relates to cash. Now, the other reason why you're probably listening to the sound of my voice and thinking, Yinka, man, no, this is not my vibe, is because of how much time we are trained to spend worrying about cash. We spend a disproportionate amount of time worrying about money rather than taking action to fix the things that is causing us to worry about money. Tell me if I'm lying. Drop it in the chat. I don't know if it's still working. I've not seen any comments in the last few minutes, but hopefully it's still working and I'll be able to see it. If I'm lying, drop it in the chat and let me know. We spend so much time worrying about money rather than seeking to actually spend time creating more cash. Most people I come across, they do not have a cash flow management problem because they don't have enough cash to manage. They legitimately have a cash flow acquisition problem. They have an income problem. They don't have enough money. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not asking you, and neither am I promoting the idea that you can just spend willy-nilly forever, which is why you should spend that 5% of time getting your money right. But the dramatically overwhelming amount of your time should be spent on focusing to bring the cash in. You have to understand how the significance of the 95-5 rule. Let me give it to you in time. So if you were to take an hour of time, the 95-5 rule would call you to spend 3 minutes of that hour focused on managing the budgets, cutting expenses, doing the sensible stuff. And 57 of those 60 minutes working to bring that cash in. 57 minutes out of 60. So I hope you can see the disproportionate amount of time and focus that should be spent on bringing that cash in, on serving your clients, on creating new opportunities for people to improve their lives, improve their businesses, make their world better. Now have a think. Because if you should be spending 3 minutes on managing your expenses and cash flow, and 57 minutes working to bring more cash flow in, how much time do you have to worry about cash in that moment? In my little equation of 95-5, how much time do you have to spend worrying about cash? The fact is that you don't have any time. There is no time. There is no focus. And it's a good thing too that there is no focus, because worrying is simply worshipping the problem. It isn't fixing anything. It isn't changing anything. It is focusing on creating a situation where you are worshipping the problem. And the challenge with that brings me to my one powerful truth that I want to share with you today, which is simply that what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. This is why worrying is so damaging, because first you make your habits, then your habits make you. You start with a worrying habit, you become a worrier. We know that there's not a single baby born worrying. I mean, they're pretty unhappy to leave that balmy 37-degree environment for sure. But no one is born worrying. Worrying is a habit. And for someone to become a worrier, It is that they have made that habit, and now that habit has made them. And so, ladies and gents, I hope that these examples are helping you to understand A, the importance of your focus. Yes, it is expressed through time, but your focus is the most valuable thing that you have. Don't believe me? Go and ask Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and Spotify, because that's how they're making their money. That's how they're making their money. They know the value of your attention. They know the value of your focus. That's why they do everything they possibly can to keep you focused on, transfixed on their platforms. That's why they reward ensuring that you stay on their platforms. And this is the reason why you can't afford to treat your focus and your attention like it's not valuable. They know its value. You need to know it too. What you focus on expands. And so in the 95-5 rule, if you were to spend 57 out of 60 minutes of an hour, focus on bringing in cash, and 3 of those minutes focused on cash flow management, expenses management, cost cutting, and all those other things, all of a sudden, it changes your experience in a way that I cannot explain. But what I know for sure is that what you focus on expands. And so how about we focus on bringing more cash in rather than constantly trying to do pretzel knots, managing not enough money? There is no math in the world that sorts out that problem until you put more cash in the system. And so my one actionable tip for you today is to take an hour. Over the next 7 days, take an hour. Take an actual physical, use the clock hour and spend 3 minutes. Set a timer, spend 3 minutes looking at your costs, focusing on your budget, managing the money, understanding the numbers, pat yourself on the back, and then spend the next 57 minutes working out how you are going to bring more cash into your world. Go give yourself a 95-5 cash flow success hour. Go give yourself one of those. It is a gift that will keep on giving. And then slide into my DMs and tell me how you went. Now, given that this is my area of expertise, ladies, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you're like, Yinka, I hear you, I understand you, and I have no idea how to start. I need support in this area. Please help me. Feel free, slide into my DMs. The word or the expression you're looking for today is 95/5. Drop me a note, 95/5, so I know that you came from this video. And if you want to find out more about my 12-week accelerator or my 12-month academy, come ask me some questions. But I assure you, you will, if you are not spending enough time through focus through time, bringing cash into your system, what you are focusing on is expanding. This is why you do not want to give any more oxygen to worrying about money, because what you focus on expands. This is the reason why in my spending plan, I don't have a budget. In my spending plan, I removed the line that said emergency fund. I don't have an emergency fund. I haven't had one for the last 5 years. And you know what happened? I stopped having emergencies to come and collect those funds. I stopped having emergencies trying to claim my emergency fund. I don't have an emergency fund and I have less emergencies. What you focus on expands. Hi, Lorati. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good to see you. 97 minutes of every hour, bringing in more cash. 3 minutes, managing the cash. You insert a few of those each week and watch everything about your cash flow system transform. So, ladies and gents, that is everything I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me live. Thank you for dropping your comments in the chat. Hi, Hezbon, lovely to see you. Thank you, Joan. I love that you love the 95.5 cash flow hour. Hi, Lorati. Thank you for your comment as well. I love your comment here. You said, so happy to hear you say all this because sometimes I worry that I focus too much on activities that bring clients towards me. I'll just keep doing what I do the best. Absolutely. You cannot spend too much time on it. 95.5. It should be 95% of the time you spend focused on those things. So, ladies and gents, that is everything I wanted to share. Thank you for joining. Please, drop your biggest takeaway in the chat. I'd love to know what you are taking away, what you are committing to take action on. Nothing is useful until it is used. So go use it. Go use it. Set that timer. Let's get one of those 95.5 cash flow hours in the mix. If you want to hear more insights on my work, ladies, feel free, jump into my DMs with the 95.5. So I know you came from this video. We can always talk more. And ladies and gents, I will be back here at 1:30 p.m. UK time next Wednesday. I'm not sure what I'm talking about yet, but you can be sure that I will be bringing the fire as it relates to all things money, mindset, habits, cash flow, strategy, awesomeness to boost both you and your business. So take care. Have an amazing rest of your day. Tag a friend into this video, and I will see you in the spaces.